Hey, what's up guys? Just want to give you a new update on the stimulus package, but this relates more to Trump and how he's kind of instigating things. But here is the news. On the first day of the first full week, when tens of millions of Americans went without the federal jobless aid that was cushioning them during the illness, President Trump was not cajoling undecided lawmakers to embrace a critical stimulus bill to stabilize the economy. He was at the White House hurling insults at Democratic leaders whose support he needs to strike a deal. Mr. Trump called Speaker Nancy Pelosi, quote, crazy Nancy, end quote, charging that she had no interest in helping the unemployed. He said Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic leader, only wanted to help, quote, radical left, end quote, governors in states run by Democrats, and he threatened to short-circuit a delicate series of negotiations to produce a compromise and instead unilaterally impose a federal moratorium on tenant evictions. The comments just came as Mr. Trump's own advisors were on Capitol Hill meeting with Pelosi and Schumer in search of an elusive deal, and they underscored just how absent the president had been during the negotiations. On Monday, Trump remained, quote, totally involved, end quote, in the talks, even though he was not over there with crazy Nancy. But while White House officials say that he is interested in the talks and is closely monitoring them, he has not sought out to use the full powers of his office to prod a deal, and more often he has complicated the already sensitive negotiations. In stimulus talks, Mr. Trump's ideas have been out of sync with members of his own party. On Monday, he said he was considering acting on his own to eliminate payroll taxes, something a president does not have the power to do himself, an idea that his advisors had dropped from the talks in the face of near unanimous opposition by Republican lawmakers. The eviction moratorium he has championed was not part of the Republican plan. Quote, I'll do it myself if I have to, end quote, Mr. Trump said. And the stakes of the negotiations could not be higher. Business leaders pleaded with lawmakers to draft a sweeping recovery package to help the hardest hit industry survive the crisis. The economists warned that the expiration of the $600 per week enhanced unemployment payments could already be dragging down consumer spending. Okay, so Trump is definitely not helping things by pointing fingers at Democrats. Again, he should probably be more diplomatic and try to work with them instead of calling them names, but this really doesn't bode well for August 7th because we're already on Tuesday here, and the deadline's on Friday. So they have about 3 days to strike a deal, and it's really not looking optimistic because, number one, President Trump is not working with the House Democrats and the Democrats in the Senate to strike a deal. And again, there's still a large impasse on unemployment. Again, this seems to be the major issue. And they only have about 72 hours to get this resolved. But again, not optimistic. And if I were you and you are depending on your stimulus check, to count on it for about late September, because Congress will be back in session after their recess in early September, and hopefully it gets worked out and you get your check by late September. But again, I think at this point, the most optimistic scenario is getting your check by late September. And again, it's good that the Senate and the House are in tandem with agreeing that $1,200 is the requisite amount. So I'm guessing it'll be $1,200 on the dot. And again, similar provisions to the CARES Act where you get money for dependents. However, you'll get additional money for adult dependents. So hopefully, guys, that was a little helpful. Again, don't stay too hopeful, but please like and subscribe to the video. And if you are interested in my Amazon link below for my book, it's called Austerity Millionaire. It explains how I, at 35, became a multimillionaire only by working a salary job that ranged from 40K to 81.5K from the ages of 22 to 35. It goes over expenses, income, and more importantly, investing. So that's it, guys, and stay tuned for the next video.